Well, thank you all for coming this afternoon. As I'm sure you know, I'll be heading to our nation's capital later today for a series of meetings with my gubernatorial colleagues from around the country. The National Governors Association winter meeting begins on Saturday, but I'll be getting a head start tomorrow with the NGA State Alliance for eHealth. That's the group that I co-chair with Governor Phil Bredesen of Tennessee. You may recall that the eHealth Alliance has had several meetings in Vermont over the last couple of years, including last August in South Burlington. And it's been a great opportunity for us to highlight Vermont's leadership in health IT with our VITAL program, the grants that we just received from the federal government through ARA, the e-prescribing success that we've had. We got the award last year for being the state that had the greatest increase in the percentage of prescriptions that are transmitted electronically, and we have a lot to be proud of there. So that group is meeting tomorrow. It's an initiative that was designed to improve our healthcare system by helping states increase the efficiency and effectiveness of health IT initiatives. It's a forum for stakeholders to work within and across the states, as well as with the federal government, on IT policies and best practices, and explore solutions to programmatic and legal issues that relate to the exchange of health information. Beginning on Saturday, I'll chair the winter meeting of the association. I've advanced healthcare reform, as you may know, as my principal initiative during my year as chairman of NGA. When I began this responsibility last July, it looked like we were probably going to get some healthcare reform legislation approved by the Congress. The path forward in Washington is unclear at this point, but my colleagues and I are going to highlight the fact that healthcare reform is happening. It's happening in the states. There are a lot of exciting things that are initiatives all around America, and I'm particularly proud of what we've accomplished here in Vermont. So we'll have a chance to share our successes, to share the lessons that we've learned with other states, and advance a more efficient and affordable healthcare system nationally. Governors won't have an opportunity only to talk with each other, but we'll be meeting with the President on Monday to discuss the needs of the states. As you know, states are facing massive budget challenges both this year and for a number of years to come. We can't afford more unfunded mandates from Washington. We need flexibility to manage our budgets. Every state has unique demands, and federal aid that comes with too many strings doesn't help us solve our structural deficits. So I look forward to meeting with the President and a number of his cabinet members to talk about areas of mutual interest and how we can all work together and make our states sustainable. I've also invited the Canadian provincial premiers to meet with the governors. 13 states border Canada. They're our largest trading partner, and especially in Vermont and indeed all of New England, our energy relationship is particularly critical. So I believe that by having the premiers and governors meet to talk about our shared interests, our concerns, and our future, we'll have a tremendous opportunity that we don't often have to meet with our counterparts from across the international border. We'll also be meeting with the Coalition of Northeast Governors and the New England Governors Conference to discuss regional issues. And we'll have an opportunity to spend time with our Adjutants General. The Adjutants General organization is having its winter meeting at about the same time, and we're going to get together briefly during the next few days. We've got more than 1,500 Vermont soldiers preparing to deploy to Afghanistan, and I value my close relationship with General Doobie and with all the men and women of our National Guard, and it will give us a chance as commanders-in-chief of our respective National Guards to talk with the military commanders as well. Now, the day after the NGA meeting ends, I'll be co-chairing the first meeting of the Council of Governors. That's the group of 10 governors appointed by the President recently to advise the Defense Department and the Department of Homeland Security on the needs of the Guard and on issues of state-federal authority during domestic emergencies. I think if we all work together, we can better coordinate our efforts and improve responses. So it'll be a busy weekend in our nation's capital, but I'm excited about getting to work with my colleagues. It's a great honor to chair the National Governors Association, but also a great responsibility. The NGA has, for many years, been a tremendous resource for our state and others as we confront these challenging times. So I look forward to sharing what we're doing in Vermont, hearing how other states are responding to the recession, and talking with the President about advancing an agenda that works for our nation and for the people of all the states.
When you meet with the President to talk about the budget problems that all the states are having, will you asking for a second stimulus package?
Well, I supported the first package, or some first package, as you know, the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act that passed last year. We have sent a letter as an association asking for additional support for Medicaid. We didn't indicate whether it should be in a stimulus package or a jobs package or even in just the regular annual budget, but whatever vehicle they choose, we would welcome some additional support, because the recession, although perhaps technically over, is still being felt severely by low-income families of our state. In the same letter, we asked for more flexibility for an end to what's called the maintenance of effort requirements, so that states can redesign their Medicaid programs to meet their unique needs and be more flexible. So we've asked for that additional support, whether we call it a recovery package or something else, we'll leave to Congress.
Well, because you got millions of dollars in the first stimulus package that the state could use at its discretion for education, other parts of the budget. Would that be helpful a second time?
Well, more money is always helpful, but I'm conscious, and I'm sure my colleagues are, of the $12.3 trillion debt that the Congress has amassed that's likely to increase substantially during the coming fiscal year. We're all federal taxpayers, and we don't want to pass that amount of debt on to future generations. So we have to balance the value of stimulative spending with the huge accumulation of debt that in the long run is not going to be good for our national economy. For the short term, I think we ought to spend the recovery dollars that are available and unspent now. There's a jobs bill going through our legislature, not as quickly as I hope, that will use some of the state fiscal stabilization funds that have not yet been allocated to create more jobs in Vermont. I asked that it be on my desk by the end of January. That didn't happen. I'll ask now that it be on my desk before town meeting, because we've got farmers who are ready to enter into contracts with seed providers. We've got manufacturers, up to 40 different companies who are ready to sign contracts with our Commerce Agency for training programs. The funds are in that bill. We've got VITA poised to get more low-interest loans out. We've got a ski industry that's ready to spend some more advertising money to stretch this very positive ski season that we're enjoying. We ought to spend the money that we've got now, and we've done well in deploying dollars in transportation projects. We've got some competitive grants that are very exciting, but we ought to spend the money that we've got, and I, again, urge the legislature to pass that jobs bill as quickly as possible.
Without the maintenance of effort requirement and the Medicaid money, isn't there a risk that states will simply replace state money and use state money somewhere else? Isn't that sort of exactly what we've been arguing against here?
Well, I trust our policymakers to make good choices, but states are facing tremendous shortfalls, especially in other parts of the country where the deficits are even greater than Vermont, where they're making even more difficult choices than I've outlined here. We have to allow some flexibility. We have to recognize that one size doesn't fit all, that states have different priorities, different ways they'd like to structure their human service programs, and I think the federal government would be well advised to give us that flexibility. That's what we're